Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the 3M Open DFS DraftKings preview. DB here, Pat Perry with me. The Open is over. Major championship season is over until April, Pat. We are sad. We're sad.
Yeah.
Everybody's sad. Oh, wait a minute. No, we have the 3M Open.
Oh, I'm happy again.
Okay. No, but
I'm happy again.
No, we're actually sad. We are actually sad. Xander Schauffele is your champion golfer of the year. He was not in my DFS lineups, which makes me not a Millie Maker winner. Let's do some quick DFS recap. The perfect lineup that you could have constructed, you would have left $4,800 on the table. You would have only spent $45,200 on DraftKings. You would have had Xander, Billy Ho, Justin Rose, Thick Boy Lawrence, Thick Boy Lowry, and Russell Henley. And you'd have scored 516 points at a combined roughly 40% total ownership. You would have had Schauffele in the 11K range, Lowry in the 8K. You'd had 3 in the 6K, and then Lawrence in the 5K range, I believe. That is how the perfect lineup would have went down. Of the top 10 DraftKings points scorers, those who were top points scorers, only Xander and Scotty were above 9K. Of the top 10 highest owned, 5 missed the cut, and only 2 finished in the top 20 point scorers. The chalk absolutely bombed. In fact, you could argue the only chalky player to really pay off their price in terms of, maybe 2 percentage of points to price would be Xander and Sungjae. That was it.
Yeah.
And last week on the show, I opened the show and said, listen, what did I do? I read off a few stats. Now, did I obey all of that myself? No, I did not. But I'm here for you, not necessarily just for me. I said the chalk has been terrible at the Open in recent years. Fade the chalk. Don't get too committed. Let's wait. That's why we had fun with, building kind of some thematic lineups last week to talk about some fun names and get into it, because you just can't make your decisions until the open weather and the open course knowledge starts to take effect. And Pat, I want to get your thoughts on the weather and on what we saw at the Open, and maybe a key takeaway that we need to remind ourselves next year. Before we do, want to thank our friends at Swannies that provided me this very clean, very nice polo here that is a very nice blue and purple pattern that my wife really enjoys and looks good on my remainder of my beach tan that I have going on, but would look great on you, Pat, and your olive skin for sure. Yeah. You can head over to swannies.co and use the code TJ25 to get yourself 25% off everything you order. 25% off your entire order. They got clothes for men, women, juniors, all kind of good stuff. They got great shorts, all color, every color. If you're like, man, I really need a color. I need a purplish color shorts.
Mm-hmm.
They got it. If you want some joggers, Pat has them. They're great, aren't they, Pat?
Wonderful.
Phil was wearing joggers at the Open.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Yeah, because he lost a bet.
Is that why?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
He lost to Grant Horvat. You didn't see? How did I see the YouTube golfer video? And
I didn't see that. That's amazing. I love that. What a great. I love that. They look great. He probably would have enjoyed them more had they been Swannies, but it is what it is. Check out swannies.co. Link in the description. TJ25. Pat, what do you think is a takeaway? What do we tell our future? Talk to our future selves. The 2025 Open Championship is at Royal Portrush next year, where Shane Lowry won last. What would you like to tell 2025 Open Championship Pat for DFS purposes next year?
Don't play Rory.
Okay.
He did have a terrible go at Royal Portrush the last time also. But
Mhm.
I would also say you, again, with the weather, just have to pay attention to the weather and what the weather brings more than we always want to focus on a wave, but also it's just the fact that it can take out players for random reasons. And
Mhm.
that's another reason, like you're kind of talking about at the beginning of the show, that you just sort of have to take some gambles on some guys that you may not normally look at, and then I think also really studying up on some of these European tour players like Tristan Lawrence, a Daniel Brown, who I never even really heard of
Yeah, but, I mean,
before.
had you studied Daniel Brown, you for sure wouldn't have played him.
You wouldn't have played him
He
because
was
he
coming
did
off
miss
the
a lot of
garbage.
cuts in a row. Tristan Lawrence, though, you
He's been
might
playing
have.
good. Is
Tristan
it
Lawrence,
Tristan? It's like Thriston. It's spelled
it's spelled
Thriston.
Tristan, but I mean everybody was saying Tristan. It's like a silent H. You don't get a whole lot of silent HRs like that, but that's what it was. It
But
was
the R is not silent because it's Tristan.
well, yeah, a silent H, but the HR combo,
Yeah, yeah,
Tristan,
yeah. Why would an H be a middle H be silent?
because it's South African. They
I, I
don't.
s- I will say I can't unsee. I don't remember who tweeted it, but I could not unsee after he hits a shot, his face. Somebody tweeted out that he's got permanent what is it, like TikTok crying filter face, where it's like it makes everybody look like they're crying,
He
and
does kind of like
it 100. I could not unsee it the rest of the weekend.
yeah. Um, what else would I say to my?
I think with the weather, I, I, I think with the weather, I'm getting choked up.
You choked up about the weather. You miss me doing the weather, don't you? Weather wise.
Next year for DFS, I am stacking both waves. Regardless, I don't care. Where is Portrush? Is that Ireland or Scotland?
Yeah,
Forgive
it's
me.
Northern Ireland.
Okay. So it's the same thing, right? It's the same weather situation. Now, if it's one of these random ones in like the UK and it's not as coastal or something, whatever. But if it's Scotland or Ireland, I don't care if the weather says it's going to like freaking San Diego for 4 days. I don't care. I am stacking waves because it can change so quickly. And then I mean, I had 3 different weather sites. I normally use one. I had 3 different ones that I was using all week last week. And yes, they were showing a PM AM advantage, but nothing like what we got. It was a 2-shot advantage at least. It was a 2-shot advantage at least. And I just think from here on out, like at the Open, you have to have a percentage of your lineups where you stack weather. And depending on exactly what that forecast is, like that's your baseline. No matter the forecast, you do this. If the forecast looks perfect, you still stack this percentage of lineups, AM, PM, PM, AM. And then based on what the actual forecast says, you ratchet it up one or the other, or you just leave it at its baseline. But I am never not going to have stacks on both sides if it's in Scotland or Ireland because it's just so volatile. It's so volatile. And yes, you should also take into account players whose tampon strings hang out when the weather gets rough. And the one who's hung out the most was born in freaking Northern Ireland, and it was Rory.
Yeah.
He just decided to quit. Basically, it's popular these days for these young people to do quiet quitting. Where they stay at the job, but they quietly quit at their desk and do other things. He quiet quit on like number 4 on Friday. So screw that guy from here on out on if there's ever any weather anywhere. He's got to be playing in dome-like conditions from Northern effing Ireland. Give me a break with that. He lost points in my book for that one. I will say that.
Wait a second.
He did. I've been coming around on Rory. He lost points with me on that.
Well, then so did Shane Lowry, right? He lost
Shane
points.
Lowry was also a baby back bitch last week.
Yeah, so he should have lost points with you too. Because after his round 3, he complained like no other.
He did. The 2 Irishmen.
Like they're both from Northern Ireland.
If you watch the betting show, you know that I may have pissed off a lot of people in Minnesota at our betting show, and which is probably a bad thing because Pat, remember when we first started, it was like all of DFS fantasy golf content was coming out of Minnesota
for some reason. Yeah, it's crazy.
and so we probably lost a lot of listeners from the betting show for Minnesota. Well, on the DFS show, our target's on you, Ireland. What are you guys doing over there? Being whiny babies.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry was a whiny baby.
I agree. And you wouldn't have expected that out of Shane Lowry.
But maybe you kind of would have. Like, he kind of did it at the Ryder Cup a few years back. He's made scenes before. He's pissed and moaned about stuff before. Remember when he laid his putter down at the Ryder Cup?
Yeah. Well,
I'll still lose so much money betting on the guy, though, because I love him so much. But yeah.
The other takeaway is just the experience level of what you see on the leaderboards at Open Championships. Justin Rose being up there. I mean, Billy Horschel. I mean, Jason Day finished in the top 15 for crying out loud.
That's 2 years in a row for him.
And he's usually kind of whiny about, symptoms. Maybe not the weather, but
just symptoms.
I mean, but yeah, I think you have to look at experience. You have to look at these guys that, not only can have that grit and grind to them, but also know how to play these golf courses and know that because Justin Rose got the bad end of the draw and still finished at 700.
He battled. What a performance he had.
Yes,
he battled. It was a little disappointing, because you and I didn't have Xander on the card, whatever. And I like Xander more now than I ever have. But towards the end there, I was definitely pulling for, since I didn't have a dog in the hunt, I was pulling for Billy Ho as an American and as an older guy who's never gotten across the major championship.
It hurt every bulldog part of my body, but I was pulling for Billy Horschel.
But if it wasn't going to be him, I was pulling for Rosie because it just would have been a heck of a story.
Heck yeah, I agree.
But yeah, experience matters. Experience matters. That's why I didn't understand everybody's freaking out over betting Akshay last week. It just matters. There are some exceptions for sure. It's golf. But anyway, a couple other quick questions came in from the Discord to recap the Open and one piece of golf news here. Which Spaz asks, which major and add in the Ryder Cup venue for 2025 are you most excited about? The venue, the golf course. Obviously, there's Augusta National. There's Oakmont is the site of the U.S. Open where DJ won. There's Portrush in Ireland, Shane Lowry. There is Quail Hollow is coming back for the PGA, which I think last time the PGA was at Quail, it was Justin Thomas victory. And then the Ryder Cup is at Bethpage. What venue, what golf course are you most excited about seeing? Because we both enjoyed Royal Troon a good bit.
I would have to say Bethpage, but then Portrush would be close because I think Portrush was a very interesting spot because it's not a usual spot in the rotation. And it from what I remember in 2019, it got rave reviews, which is why they're coming back sooner than we probably would have thought they would have. So I think Portrush is up there, but I love Bethpage. And I think Bethpage for a Ryder Cup is awesome. So and then if I'm thinking of what venue would I want to go to the most, it would be Bethpage. But Portrush would be a close second. I don't care about Quail Hollow at all.
I don't. Quail Hollow is literally give me anything else. Give me TPC Twin Cities. I'll take that. I don't care to see Quail Hollow again. I think it's Portrush for me. It just weeks like the Open just remind me how much I love watching links golf. And I love these 2 weeks that we have at the Genesis Scottish, although the Renaissance Club is kind of it just doesn't have the history. It's got the links vibe. I get it. But plus I love the history.
That you have to call it Renaissance and you can't just call it Renaissance.
Yeah.
Who decided you got to call it Renaissance? Somebody named Renee?
Must have been. There must be a contingent of Renees in the RNA membership that demanded that happen. No, it just reminds me how much I love watching this links golf stuff. So it's Port Rush for me. But I agree, Bethpage is going to be fun. Last question before we move on here. Our boy Drape says, is Pat going to watch announced today? Coming out tomorrow. Drape wants to know, because you're not a big YouTube golf guy and you think YouTube golf is lame. And, I think a lot of it's lame too. But are you going to watch Bryson and Trump attempt to break 50 on Bryson's YouTube channel that drops on Tuesday, just announced today? Part of his Break 50 series.
I mean, except for the fact that I just gave you some information about Phil Mickelson with a YouTube video
that is true.
you didn't know about. So
yeah, but you didn't learn that by watching the video. There's no way you watched that video.
Yeah, I did.
No way. You did not watch.
It came up on my TikTok feed.
Yeah, that does not count.
Or Instagram, one of those.
Does not count. I'm not talking about a clip. I'm talking about you go watch the whole video on YouTube.
I will watch. I actually think I will watch the Trump Bryson video.
It's gonna be interesting.
I think it's gonna could be electric.
I think it could be. There's two electric personalities. You can be assured of that. So yeah, that will be interesting. I'll be watching it for sure. All right. I think that's it on the Open recap. Sad to see it go. Won't have another major till Augusta. Won't have these live folks playing amongst the PGA Tour guys until Augusta again. It's terrible. It is what it is. Maybe a couple on the President. Well, no, they said the President's Cup team, they weren't going to have live players, didn't they? Isn't that right? No live players on the President's Cup team. It's just the dumbest thing.
I don't know. I'm just ready for the Ryder Cup.
I guess Olympics, we might have a couple. I don't know. We will have Olympics coverage next week. By the way, we'll be doing an Olympics betting show. We're fired up for that one. This week, I will be doing a live preview show for the live event in England, which the course looks fantastic. It's a new course. It looks beautiful. The JCB Golf and Country Club. Pat may join me for that show, so that'll drop later this week. All right, let's talk about the golf course real quick. I'm going to share my screen, open up, bet the number, and just quickly recap the last 3 years I have selected here at the 3M Open. It's hosted this event at TPC Twin Cities, Par 71 in Blaine, Minnesota, 5 times. It was the inaugural one was won by Matt Wolff. Michael Thompson won here. Good Lord. Bryson's won here. Finau, I think, won here, and Lee Hodges won here. I think that's who's done it. But these are your last 3-year averages. You can see fairways in red go up. Fairways are a little wider than PGA Tour average. Rough, not super penal either. Guys kind of send it here. Average driving distance ticks up a bit. Green and regulation percentage goes up quite a bit as well. Birdies per round goes up a little. Bogeys per round goes down a little. Your top 5 finishers the last 3 years. It's a lot of approach play and putting, baby. Hard to gain strokes off the tee because it's not super challenging off the tee. High greens and reg rate means around the green play doesn't really do you much good. So hit your irons close, make a bunch of putts. That's really where you see it go down. And you don't have to be a bomber here. You see the you see the bet the number Bombers Paradise proprietary calculation there. It helps a little bit. Guys like Cam Champ have done well. Bryson, like I said, Finau, but you don't have to be. So there you go. You don't have to do that. And then you're going to use a lot of the mid irons. A lot of shots between 100, 175, 180 yards. A couple long irons into these, par 5s, whatever. That's your quick course breakdown of the TPC Twin Cities golf course there in Blaine, Minnesota. And I am seeing a little weather. Speaking of weather, they're getting some wind there up in Minnesota. They're getting some wind potentially on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Might move into Thursday. May creep into affecting weather waves there. You only have this event and then the Wyndham in 2 weeks are your final 2 FedEx Cup point qualifying events before the playoffs. Top 70 after the Wyndham make the FedEx Cup playoffs. That was something we talked about on the betting show. You got a couple bubbles here. The FedEx bubble, your top 70 make the playoffs. They're fully exempt for 2025. If you're in the top 50, you obviously make the playoffs and you're fully exempt for top 25, but you are also in every single signature event for 2025, which is a big deal. So guys who are on the bubble between the 50 and the 70 numbers is something to watch. The 71 to 125 isn't as much a big deal this time of year as it used to be. That's more of a thing in the fall. We'll address that when the fall season starts. And then you have the President's Cup bubble as well. Some guys looking to qualify on points or make a case to be picked as a captain potentially. You got some players in here looking to do that as well. So that's a couple things to know there. By the way, if you're not already signed up for Bet the Number, you need to be. Check out Bet the Number, betthenumbergolf.com, our go-to one-stop shop for golf data and analytics. It was the site I showed you just a minute ago when I shared my screen. It's our go-to spot every single week for all our player data, all our course data, owned by people who have spent the last few years handicapping, understanding these golf courses at every PGA Tour stop, as well as understanding the players and what it takes to play well, working with the U.S. Ryder Cup team to analyze data for golf courses and players. You're getting really sharp people behind the scenes, and the product is ever improving. Link is in the description. Code TJ gets you $5 off monthly memberships and $50 off annual memberships. Or you can DM myself or Pat in the Discord and get the biggest discount available. All right, let's talk about it. 9K and above on DraftKings. Patrick. Why have I called you Patrick? I've called you Patrick a couple times tonight.
What's going on with that?
Maybe it's coming off the Open. I feel like we just have to be more proper. Like
Tristan.
Proper name. I'm still not convinced it's Tristan. I think it could be Tristan, and people just can't see Tristan. We'll have to find out. He's in the field this week.
Well, we can ask him. Let's get him on the show. Let's ask him.
Yeah, let's do that. 9K and above. Keegan Bradley is at 9K. Tony Finau at 10.5. Weak field, trashy field. If you like your field just a little on the trashy side, shout out to an old country song, then welcome to the 3M Open.
Yeah.
Thank you, 3M, for delivering that piece of trash. Does 3M do trash bags? I think they do. You got Finau, Sahith, and Burns at 10K or above. So far, none of these people have withdrawn. Who knows? They could. It could happen at any moment. What are you thinking in terms of potential chalk in this range? You also have the young kid from Florida State, Luke Clanton, at 9,300, making noise.
Yeah, I think the chalk is going to be at the top at Tony Finau. I think Akshay is going to have some chalk.
Mm-hmm.
I think Luke Clanton's actually going to be chalky, which is crazy to think about. But I think
we all love the shiny new toys.
Yes. I'm interested to see what Sahith is going to be like, because I don't think, it feels like a pretty good course for him, but he's not done well here at all. So I think he might get squeezed out a little bit by the Finau chalk, the Akshay chalk, and that around him.
Yeah, Sahith and Sammy B feel too volatile for this place, but to pay that price, could they win here 100%? They have the kind of upside. They can win anywhere. But they both also feel quite volatile. And of note, while these fairways are wider and these greens and regulation numbers are higher and the rough penalty is very low, there are a lot of penalty shots awarded here because there's water on like 14 or 15 holes, and it's not super tight, but if you spray it enough, you're going to find it. And those two could definitely find it. So I agree with you on Finau, Akshay, and Luke Clanton. I wonder if people will get back on Keith Mitchell. He may not be super chalky as much as he was for a lot of the summer here, coming off the two, the back-to-back missed cuts at Genesis Scottish. Then, god dang, I mean, then you go to the Barracuda and embarrass yourself. But given how he's putted here, because it's all been the putter, like his problem is just the putting. So the models still love him. Like he still comes out number one in my model, which yet again, I've made my model public on Bet the Number. It will be public every week for the rest of the year. If you want to check that out on betthenumbergolf.com, you don't want to do your own model, you can do mine, or you can look at Bet the Numbers. Their own model is also public. He's number one in the model. even though I have putting weighted actually pretty significantly because it is going to be it could turn into a putting contest. But his putter's been so terrible. But he's played here 4 times. He's gained 5, 7, lost a shot, and then gained another 6 in putting here. Something about these, pretty basic. I don't think they have a lot of slope or character to them. They run fast. They're pure bent grass greens that he just loves. I don't know. Or are people just going to say, no, give me Luke Clanton?
Yeah, I think they might. I don't know. I think Keith Mitchell to me is an interesting DFS play this week. I think you can take a gamble on him a little bit because he has kind of screwed a lot of us lately whenever we seem to go all in on Keith Mitchell, but I like him this week. I think I will be happy to pivot off of Clanton and go to Keith Mitchell.
He is a pivot I would get in on if necessary. I've been off of him the last few weeks. I'll get back on. I think Keegan and Poston are interesting too down here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Keegan could kind of be. I see a scenario where Keegan's trying to make a case to get on the President's Cup team, even though like right now he's ranked 18th. Well, it's that, and it's his mission to earn his way without having to be a selection on the Ryder Cup team, which we know those points are also already accumulating. This place is going to suit him much better than the Open Championship would suit Keegan Bradley, even though he definitely didn't play terribly at the Open. I don't think. Didn't he make the cut? He made the cut at the Open, didn't he?
No, Keegan didn't make the cut.
Oh, he missed the cut. Okay, missed the cut.
He was +7, so he was 1 off the cut line.
I think him and Poston are interesting. Poston doesn't do well in the wind, although so that might be something to think about for if the wind.
Yeah, but he's done well here at this golf course. I like Poston more than Keegan, I think.
I don't know if it's been windy though. If it's wind, it looks windy.
Yeah,
it's like it could get real windy. But when you see numbers like that off of JT Poston, it does kind of start. It screams putting contest. The fact that he's done so well here and he's just crushed it with the putter, it reiterates putting contest. Yeah. I think the temptation would be to even, and I think you can skip this range altogether. That's fine. But I think there's enough value in the 6K. You can still build some lineups and have some of these guys fill out your lineups and give you some real upside. Is it likely? Is it as likely that Sahith and Burns and Finau and those guys actually pay off their price? Probably not. Not as much as we're used to. And it's Scotty and Xander up there. But, I tinkered around building some lineups. You can do it. All right, let's move on to the 8K range. Oh, cash. Did you have a cash play in this range?
I mean, I think for me in cash, I'd probably be looking at. Oh, wow.
It's ugly.
It's ugly. I think I'd go up a little bit and just Akshay at 9,800.
Not the same thing. Yeah. Okay, so agreement there. Cam Davis all the way down to Justin Rose coming across the pond after the runner-up finish to play the 3M. Rosie.
Wait,
or did he withdraw?
He must have withdrawn because I'm not showing him in the field.
Oh, okay. Why is he still? He's still on mine.
Refresh the screen.
Let's check. Let's check Rob Bolton here. Oh, yep. He just withdrew. He withdrew an hour ago. Oh, MJ DeFew got in. MJ DeFew.
Yeah, no Rosie.
All right, good. No Rosie. Never mind. It wasn't going to play him anyway. All right, so then takes us down to Patrick Rogers at 8,100. Cam Davis at 89, coming off his win at the Rocket Mortgage. Chalk in here, I think Nick Dunlap, just because people like the upside. He just won the Barracuda, 8,400. Bombs it. I think Nick Dunlap potentially. I think EVR is going to get some love. Rightfully so. Ball striking's been solid. Putter's been hit or miss, but he's a Golden Gopher. Played at Minnesota. His caddy played at Minnesota. He's on the He's on the President's Cup bubble. He's on the FedEx Cup bubble, the top 60s, and he's currently, or top 50 bubble. He's currently 56th. If he can sneak inside that top 50, guarantees himself the signature event access all year next year. So that's interesting. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be much chalk. I think people are probably not as in on Maverick McNeely as they were. I don't know who else it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be Lee Hodges. He won't be chalk. He'll be rostered, but he won't be chalk.
Do you think Hoagie will have some chalk or Cam Davis? I mean, Cam Davis has played extremely well on this golf course. Yeah, and he just won a couple weeks ago.
Do people like him? I guess they do, huh?
I think they like Cam Davis.
Yeah. I'm not sure I like Cam Davis this week.
It was more of a question of chalk. I wonder.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I just felt like EVR and Dunlap were the two sure things. And I like both. I like both. I do like Hoagie that you mentioned, Hoagie. Maybe he will be chalky. He's a Minnesota guy too. So good record here. Hitting it fine as usual. Putter usually lets him down. He's had some peak putting weeks here, though, in the last 5 or so years. Don't want anything to do with Patrick Rogers, nor Lee Hodges for that matter. I mean, I could be interested in Mav, but I will not play a chalky Mav at 8,300. These are easy fades for me. This is why, I think a lot of chalk in this any chalk in this 8K range, and I'll be out. I'll go up and play 9 and 10K chalk instead.
I think I agree
because there's
I think I'm going to play Patrick Rogers this week.
Oh God. What's wrong with you, man?
I'm doing it. I don't know. I'm doing it. He played well last week at the Barracuda. You look at his last, 4 starts, T5, T34, T31, T16. He's been putting amazing. I think Patrick Rogers, I would never bet him outright, but I think there's some upside in DFS to playing Patrick Rogers.
Yeah.
What if this is the week Patrick Rogers wins?
Oh, God. I don't even want to think about it. If it is, I don't care. I literally don't care.
I don't either.
Although I would love him not to win because I don't want him guaranteed anything. I don't want him guaranteed in freaking signature events all year next year. I don't want him guaranteed in majors, and I just
you don't want to have to look at him.
Yeah. The guy cannot lose his tour card somehow every year. So he's going to be on tour. If I have to have him on tour, I at least want him relegated to these events. I want him relegated to Blaine, Minnesota.
That he can win.
What? Yeah, I don't want him. I don't want him to win. But I don't care if he does. But I'd kind of care if he does. Okay. 7K range. Want to thank our friends at Underdog, by the way. Crushed round 1 Underdog props in the Discord for the Open Championship. Hope you guys tailed. We had another good round 1. Both the locks hit. It was a good day. It was a good round 1. We had it figured out. Then the lines got a little bit better in the pick'em. I did another best ball draft for round 1 and did not make money, but it is what it is. We'll keep firing. Best ball drafts are a lot of fun. Best ball drafts for the NFL are open. NFL season long pick'em, I think, is out. If it's not, it's gonna be out soon. I love doing that. You're gonna want to get involved in that if you haven't already, and it's available most places. So you can look here at the map. This is where pick'em is available, and if pick'em is not available in your state, best ball drafting probably is. So click the link in our description. Code Junkies should pre-fill for you. That code will get you a special one-time pick that's almost a free square and up to $250 in bonus cash. So support our friends at Underdog. Support us. Click on the link. Sign up. Check it out. Cash in the 8K range, Pat. I would go Hoagie.
I would probably agree with you there on Hoagie. So we got agreement here on it. Yeah.
All right, talk to me about the 7K range. Any chalk guesses? Or do we think this is just going to be typical weak field 7K range, 6K range where Yeah, maybe a guy gets to 10%, or there's a few at 10 or 11 or 9, but nobody really busts out.
I think you're right. I don't think anybody's going over 10%. I think it's just going to be the weak
Yeah.
fields. Somebody's going to hit 8, 9%, but there's not any real major chalk in this range.
Okay. Then who do you like?
Well, I'll give you a few names here. I like Sam Stevens at 7,800. Finished top 10
I
here
mean,
last
he could
year.
be chalky because we
He
both
could
liked
be
him on the betting show. Yeah,
but he's still not going to be above
he might be like
10%.
12. Yeah,
You think he's going to be 12?
I'm saying like max.
Yeah.
But I do like.
I like Stevens. I like Mac Meisner.
I like Meisner.
Finished fourth, by the way, at the Barracuda.
What about Hall coming off of the win at the ISCO, putting very nicely?
Yeah, I don't mind Hall. He's been putting good really the last 4 events. So I think he's one that I'll look at. Rico Hoey's another one at 7,500. I like Rico.
I like
off
Chan
the T6. Yeah, Chan Kim.
We didn't talk about Chan Kim on the betting show, but Chan Kim's kind of turned up lately. Last couple of events.
I mean, he's got top 30s the last 3 events. With
Chan could be the pivot because I think Rico, Meisner Hall get some attention. Chan's just like nobody's played Chan Kim all year.
Yeah, no.
What is he? Let's see. He hits it slightly further than average on tour, but he's very accurate off the tee, hitting 65% of his fairways. Typically a horrendous putter. But kind of hot with the putter the last couple weeks. Okay.
I like Chan. I mean, I think I could see me putting in some Michael Thorbjornsen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Second at the John Deere. He did miss a cut at the ISCO and then T61 at the Barracuda, but I still think he's a super talented young guy. We've seen the young guys perform well here before. I like him. I think your guy Andrew Novak, DB, at 7,400.
I like Novak. Yep, I was looking at Novak.
Yeah.
Novak's a lot of these guys too on the outside of that top 70 bubble. Stevens, Hall, Novak, all in the 80s. Meisner's at 91. They need a big jump to kind of get into the playoffs, guarantee themselves fully exempt card, fully exempt status for next year. Well, I guess Harry Hall is already now fully exempt because he's got to win. But those guys need to make a jump. Novak as well at 83. So I'm in on those guys. There's a lot of guys in here. I like Jonathan Vegas. He's 5th in my model. And found a way to gain strokes putting here 3 years ago, 2021, to finish runner-up and hitting it really nice right now, flushing it off the tee and on approach. It'll be interesting to see where Tristan Lawrence, if that's even his name, I think it's Tristan. What people do with him. A DP guy primarily, but he did play the Myrtle Beach, finished T36. But coming off the Open, it's interesting to see what people do with him. I would like Jake Knapp for this place if he could putt, but Jake Knapp is not putting very well at the moment.
Yeah. Ben Silverman's another one I like here at
I don't mind
7,200. Silverman's 14th in the BTN model. You look at his last 5 events, made the cut in all of them, had a couple top 20s in a row at the John Deere and the Rocket Mortgage. I think Silverman's another interesting guy in GPPs here.
I got 3 more. I like Power. He's 65th in the FedEx Cup, kind of on the bubble. I like Seamus, as always. I like Pearson Cootie, and I like Camp Champ. Camp Champ at 7K he might be one of the chalkier names in here. I think people know that when you get to a Camp Champ course, like he does his thing. Like that's been known. So to be 7K, that's pretty enticing. he's come into this thing in poor form. I would argue the last 2 times he's played it, and one time he won it. Even though I think in 2021 he had played the John Deere before and played well, but the weeks before that he was terrible. In 2022, when he finished T16, he was coming in terrible form. He comes in terrible form now, but it doesn't matter. Like, he just plays well at the courses he plays well. So I like Champ at 7K a lot.
One more for me, and that's Hayden Springer. I like Springer a lot this week. He had, a run with the Rocket Mortgage and the John Deere with 2 straight top 10s. The guy can score. He kind of feels a little bit like a Lee Hodges to me. This week. So I'm going with Hayden Springer at 7,000. He's my last one in this range.
Who is your cash play then?
My cash play would be, I think it would be Sam Stevens. The guy makes a ton of cuts for one and also has a lot of upside. So I think it'd be Stevens.
I was going to say Stevens, so we could have complete agreement here. But I'll also add, I think Johnny Vegas is.
I was going to say Vegas is a close second.
So maybe if you're building cash lineups, you go with both of them, because I think both feel right. All right, let's move on. 6K draft and get out of here. I'll let you start.
All right. Well, I'll start with our boy Justin Lauer at 6,800.
Love that start. Also 89th in the FedEx Cup standings. He needs to make a move. I like. Well, I mean, I'm just going to get it out there. I mean, we talked about it. Do we know where has Shipley been priced? Where is Shipley?
He's got to be priced in here.
Oh, he's 7,300. Okay.
Yeah, so
he wasn't priced earlier. He wasn't priced earlier when I was doing this. So, all right. Well, I like Shipley in the 7K range. Based on our discussion about Neil Shipley that got off the rails and weird on the betting show, I've already noticed he's already been given a Discord nickname, which, if you don't know, our Discord has amazing nicknames for certain players, very strange, obscure players. Nicknames like Bunny Nuts and what's another one? Honey Mustard. There's a Taco Supreme in there. R.I.P. to him. He ain't even around anymore. But Shipley has already been given.
He's in the field. He's in the field.
Is he really? Taco Supreme is?
Yeah, Will Gordon. Yeah, he's in the field.
We might need to give somebody else that nickname. Shipley's nickname has already been made to be Mrs. Doubtfire based on some conversation, which is a hilarious nickname. Okay. I can't take him. I will take God, there's a lot of guys in here I like. I think we gotta have Joel Damon on the squad, man. I mean, Joel, I know he's team no putt, 6,800, but he putted okay in 2 rounds at ISCO, putted really well at the Canadian. We know he hits fairways. He's not played well here, but I think he could. He needs to get it into gear. And when Joel needs to focus and get it done, I think he can. And he gives you real upside at 6,800, I think.
Okay.
Well, a couple heart picks there to start with Lauer and Joel.
Yeah, this is tough. All right, I'll go with Chandler Phillips next.
I like that one. Someday somebody gonna turn around. Is that Chandler?
Wilson Phillips? No, it's Wilson Phillips.
Wilson Phillips. Yeah.
Okay. That was not on the bingo card that we were going to get to Wilson Phillips.
Was Wilson Phillips the 3 thick-wristed ladies like Neil? Or was just one of them?
Yeah, I think one of them was skinny.
Or was just one of them? Tony, pull up a picture.
They varied. They varied in weight throughout the careers.
Sidebar here. If we're gonna have a producer, I think we gotta wake producer Tony up a little bit here.
I know he should have been putting up Wilson Phillips immediately.
Even if you just have to do a screen share, Tony. Even if it's just screen share. You don't have to do the import of all the things. But Joe Rogan has Jamie where he can just be like, "Oh, Jamie, look this up."
Sorry, I don't want to ruin Pat's internet.
That's true. That is true.
All right, well now you can share.
I got to see a picture of Chandler Phillips.
You mean?
Yeah.
Wilson?
I mean Wilson Phillips. Someday somebody gonna Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dang, huh? There's a
Yeah, the middle one's always been skinny.
She got a 5 head. She's one of the five head sisters there.
Yeah, and then
That's
Don't-
Neil Shipley right there on the left, isn't it? Oh no, that's not.
no, but on the right, she's the
The lead singer.
the lead. She's like the main singer.
Okay. I love Chandler Phillips, so let's do that. While we're at it and we're doing the, he's also got the killer mustache. I'll go Carson Young. I like little Carson Young. This event, he's coming off a T5 at the John Deere Classic. Kind of just has his weeks, man. T14 at RBC Canadian, hits it straight, putts it pretty well. Got to get those irons clicking, and we're good. But I like Carson Young to have a good week.
Okay. You know what? I'll go. He's so hit or miss, but almost won just a couple weeks ago. I'll go with Matt Naismith.
Oof. Oh, yeah, you lost me there. No interest in the young Ben James.
No.
What about? Hang on, let me pull this guy up because I think this is. Oh man, he's just he can't get 4 rounds put together. He can't putt. Never mind, I'm out. Should we just go with the course horse and the master putter extraordinaire, Aaron Baddeley?
Yeah, do it. I looked at him.
Bads is 6,600. He just figures it out. He's figured it out around here. He's doing well. He's doing a good job. Can't hit it worth crap, but that's been his story his whole life. Okay. I think that's it. That is the 6K draft. It is Chandler Wilson Phillips, Carson Young, Justin Lauer, Joel Damon, Aaron Baddeley, and then the guy you said I didn't like. Who was it?
Naismith.
Oh yeah, I don't like that one. Naismith. All right. Have a great week. We got the live content coming this week, Olympics next week, emails going out this week, Wednesday night live Discord chat should be a good time. All that good stuff. Thank you for the support. Click the links. Support our partners. That helps us out, helps them out, helps us help you. All right? And have a great, fantastic week. Remember that, Pat?
People helping people.
Remember Great Fantastic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still use it to this day.
You did. Great fantasy golf sommelier last week by you.
Thank you.
By the
I
way.
enjoyed it. It was fun. Guinness.
Yeah, it was very nice. Learned a little bit about the Guinness. I like the way you poured it. That was nice. Educational. Good show. All right, Mary Screens be green. See ya.